Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey guys, this is Steve Roy, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show. Thank you for listening. So before I jump into the episode today, I just want to thank you, first of all, for listening. I appreciate your time. I know there's a million podcasts out there. You could be listening to a bunch of different ones. You know, obviously this space, the fitness space, there's no shortage of information out there. So I honestly appreciate you taking your time to listen in to what I have to say and what guests I bring on. And today I do want to talk about something, obviously, that's going on, you know, with the whole coronavirus thing, quarantine. We're still quarantined. It's now the middle of April here. No end in sight. We don't know how long schools will be out. Jobs will be shut down. Really have no idea. You know, my suspicion is it's going to be going on for months. I feel like they're going to be probably, canceling all schools for the rest of the school year. Who knows by the fall if this will be blown over or not, but, we just have to do the best we can. Obviously, sticking to the guidelines that they're telling us to do, social distancing and washing our hands being the big two. So, yeah. And so, one of the biggest things that many of us are struggling with, and honestly, I'm included on this list, is motivation. People thrive, well, a lot of people thrive on routine, on having a set schedule. Once that's removed, like has happened to millions and millions of people with this, right? You're just literally thrown out of your routine. You can't go to work. Your kids are at home. Like everything is just turned on its end. And so, we're kind of like, what the hell's going on? What are we going to do? And then, it's interesting because a lot of people on social media are talking about, well, you need to use this time to be a better person, learn new skills, read more books, reconnect with your family, reconnect with your spouse, make yourself better, improve your life, work out more. That's all well and good. First thing you have to remember is all we're seeing on social media is a highlight reel of what people want us to see. So, awesome that you've, done all of these amazing things, and maybe they're true, maybe they're not. But are they, does it really matter? I mean, think about our lives, right? Honestly, I read something the other day on social media, on Instagram, and it was from somebody that I've had on the show. And I have a lot of respect for this guy. And, he was talking about all of these amazing accomplishments that he's been able to undertake and really improve multiple areas of his life, and that's great for him. But, I'm thinking, I'm not doing any of that stuff or very little of it. And so it almost makes me feel worse. Like, wow, I must be a fucking loser if I'm not doing all of these amazing things this guy's doing. Right? I must be just wasting my time here. And here's the thing, comparing ourselves to people on social is, obviously a bad idea. I'm guilty of it. But I think the bigger issue is we're all handling this situation differently, and as much as I'd love to get on here and tell you how awesome I'm doing and how my business is booming and, my workouts are going through the roof and, I've read 15 new books and, I've created all these amazing habits that been putting off, but that's not true. I'm struggling like a lot of people. I'm in the fitness game. I've been a coach for a very long time. I do this for a living full time, but I'm struggling. It's been tough. I'd be lying if I said otherwise. And I really try to give you just, myself honestly here on this show. If you follow me on social, if you're part of my groups, that I'm not looking to impress anybody and I'm not looking to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to tell you something that I think you want to hear for whatever reason, even to sell you something. It's just not my style. This is not something I'm ever going to do. But, I had a routine. My kids were in school and I have them week on, week off. And so the weeks that I have them, they're in school. I have a very set schedule with dropping them off, picking them up. I know what I'm supposed to be doing during the day, during these times when they're home now. Yeah, just like you guys, it's hard. Like they're a little bit older. They're 14 and 11, so they can keep themselves busy, but oftentimes they don't. So they're all constantly coming into my office. Hey, Dad, can we go outside? Can we go do this? Can we go play some ball? Do you have time for a card game? Hey, I'm hungry. Can we make some lunch? And it's just like, it's just constant. And this is certainly not complaining because, I'm actually very thankful that I get to spend all this extra time with them. But at the very bottom of all this, it's thrown my schedule off. And again, this isn't a bad thing, but I'm not, in a place where I'm just accomplishing all these great things right now, and I don't want anybody to feel like, they're falling short because they are struggling with that, which, is kind of what I'm seeing on social is. So, that's the first thing. People thrive on routine, and the days now they're starting to blend together. I mean, let's face it, right? My days, I still have clients. I'm doing almost everything online specifically, but my days are still blending together. Like I wake up sometimes and I'm like, oh shit, is it Tuesday? Is it Wednesday? Does it really matter? Like the days start to lose meaning, and it sounds crazy, but I mean, you almost get lost. Like your life is starting to lose meaning because there's no greater purpose. You're just literally riding out this wave of indefinite, who knows what the fuck is going on. And I'm in the same boat. Some days I get up and I don't even take a shower. Some days I don't take a shower until right before it's time to go to bed, and that's not a good habit. I think most people feel better when they take a shower first. Get the day off to, but I'll sit around in my sweatpants or even my pajamas for part of the day because why not, right? I don't have to see anybody, nobody's seeing me, and it's not a good thing. But again, it's not as bad as we're led to believe, but if you're following a lot of these gurus on social, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're kicking ass, hell yes, do it. There's more power to you. But I want you to get just an accurate picture of other people. I mean, I'm 48 years old. If you guys know me, I keep fit. I have for a very long time, but I'm not an all-star. I'm not out here just rocking it every day, crushing it. I'm not. I'm struggling. I'm struggling with my routine. I'm struggling with a lot of things. And yeah, things have slipped. My business has slipped. My health has slipped. My diet has slipped. You know what? I don't care. You know why? Because I'm going to get it all back. Right now, I'm most interested in trying to keep my head together and figure out how do we keep ourselves healthy and away from this virus, and how to keep my kids healthy, and how to actually keep them engaged in their school activities, how to keep them physically active, and then, be engaged with them, because I want to use this time to be with them, because they will remember it. If you have kids that are, school age, yeah, they're going to look back at this one day. It could be 20, 30, 40 years from now and say, I remember that when we had that crazy shutdown for months, my dad was there. Yeah, he took so much time to be with me, and we did this and that, and I shared this on my last show. Yeah, I spend a lot of time outside with the girls, away from people, but we create a lot of different games. We can just have fun. We go out and play sports, and that's a win for everybody, right? We're active, we're outdoors, we're following, the rules, and we're having experiences that, I'll remember for the rest of my life, and so will they, hopefully. And that's the most important thing to me, rather than having a checklist of, 15, 20 books that I want to read and all these other things that, a lot of people are telling us we should be focusing on. But I will say, with all of those things said, it's important to stay motivated to be productive, or as productive as you can, right? This isn't an excuse. This whole coronavirus thing is not an excuse to be a lazy sack of shit. A lot of people are doing exactly that. It happens. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not going to beat you up, because, I have friends, close friends, that have literally just shut down completely, socially, everything, out of fear. I'm not here to judge anybody like that. Everyone handles this stuff differently. So please don't mistake this. Like, I'm not judging anybody. I'm not beating anybody up for how you're handling all of this. If you rise to the occasion, great. If you have to struggle internally and deal with things, that's okay too. But I will say, just sitting around doing nothing, obviously, bad idea. I wouldn't be suggesting that to anybody. But in order to kind of get off your ass and start doing the things that you were doing, at least to get back into some kind of routine or habit, something positive, you have to be motivated to do that. And motivation, comes from either an internal source or an external source. A lot of people rely on external sources, like watching some kind of video, listening to a song, looking at before and after photos, for example. If you're trying to stay fit, looking at people with really good bodies that you would like to have. Whatever you're going to use to stay motivated, that's a very short-term thing. The bigger, or I should say, the better way to go about it, in my opinion, is to have an internal motivation, internal inspiration, because that's the stuff that's going to get you up early. That's the stuff that's going to keep you on track, or as best you can, and not go down the rabbit hole as this thing spirals out of control across the world. So, I would say sit down and take some time. You have it, right? Almost everybody listening to this show has more time right now to think. So yeah, sit down. And I've found this exercise to be pretty helpful. Is, if I'm sitting in a room, like anywhere in a room, even in a chair with no electronics, I can't just think. Like, my mind is just bouncing all over the place. I'm looking up, I'm looking over here. All I want to do is just get on technology. Like, that's an issue that a lot of us have. I definitely have it. So for me, I found that if I actually want to think without any distractions, I have to be in an absolutely dark, quiet room. And it's a kind of a weird feeling. And if you haven't done it before, it's very uncomfortable for those that just can't seem to turn their brains off. But yeah, that's a great way to kind of open up your mind and let things start kind of flowing. And it happens to me quite a bit when I do that. Like, all these thoughts come through my head, and as soon as I'm done, I'll start writing them down. But for you, this is an opportunity to think about what inspires you. Like, why is it important to you to get off your ass? Why is it important to you to be productive, to be a better dad, to be a better husband, to reconnect with your family, to stay true to your commitment to yourself that you once had, to not be fat? Why? Like, you have to think about why, because without that, and I've recorded a whole show on this in the past, you're going to struggle. You will struggle. So, I'm going to give you a couple of ideas that I've used for myself, for clients that can work in these situations, because, let's say you're working out, you're going to a gym, right? Even though nobody's there per se checking up on you, a lot of people go by themselves, there's nobody checking in on you. There's a piece of accountability for just showing up. People, you're going to be seen, whether you don't know a face in there or not. People, you feel accountable when you walk through those doors, and there's a lot of power in that. And so, with the gyms being closed, right, no one knows if you're working out in your garage or not, right? So that piece is missing, so you have to find a replacement for that. What I've found is online groups are probably your best choice with this. There's a million free groups out there. There's a lot of different stuff going on, obviously. A lot of programs, coaches are offering free stuff. If you can, you can find plenty of free stuff out there. We've got a couple groups where we're doing some things. And so find something like that as soon as possible, especially if you're feeling isolated, if you're away from your friends and you're not really talking. Community is incredibly important for us to be part of something bigger. So find a community, whether that's ours, whether that's something else. Join something. Obviously, there's no shortage of Facebook groups out there. So whatever your passion is, whatever your tribe is, Steve Cam, who runs Nerd Fitness, has a phenomenal community of, I think he calls them misfits or mutants, people that, typically gamer type, a little bit on the nerdy side, obviously, Nerd Fitness, but he's tapped into that community. And so they go there and they feel right at home. And that's great. And he's got a massive, massive community. And so your job is to find your tribe, whatever that is. Our Fit Dad Nation, we're not a bunch of flexers. We don't do, shirtless selfies. We're not talking about how much we could bench press or squat, right? We're just like regular dudes, just average dads that, want to be healthier. We want to live longer. We want to look better. We want to be better parents, and that's it, right? We don't take ourselves too seriously. We're not, going crazy. I'm part of a few groups online that it's insane. Some of the nonsense that I see in here. But, everybody's got their own thing. So, I'm happy to have you as part of our community. You can certainly apply to our free private Facebook group at fitdadnation.com/community. But, here's what I'll tell you first of all. So when you're done listening to this show, I want you to kind of think about a few things. One is, why it's important for you to have a more productive time away from what your current routine is. Okay. Again, I already talked about the fact that I'm not going to judge you regardless of what you do, but if you want to be more productive, but you're struggling, right? Let's find your inspiration. And then number 2 is make a commitment to something. Like commit to something and to someone. Like you can't say, I'm going to work out 7 days a week. Until this thing is over, I'm working out 7 days a week. But if you don't tell anybody, what are the chances you're going to stick to it, especially if you're not working out at all, right? Pretty slim. So get your ass on the line. Put your ass out there. I mean, FaceTime your buddies, friends, family, whatever. Get people involved. Do a challenge with your spouse, with your friend, set up a Zoom call or a Skype call or a FaceTime call. Throw down a challenge. Throw down some money on a challenge. $10 or $100, whatever, for the first person that quits. Whatever it is, get something that gets you fired up, and that's a great place to start. But you got to put your ass on the line. You have to commit to something. Okay, and this is a good opportunity to figure out what you like to do as far as exercise. If you hate the gym and you always hated the gym, yeah, it sucks. I mean, does it make sense to strength train consistently? Absolutely. Critical. But some people hate going into a gym. They hate lifting weights, right? Do you have to lift weights? No. You'll be fine. I'm not saying you're going to be losing a ton of body fat and having the physique necessarily that you want, but if that's not at the top of your list, which it's not for a lot of people. You want to feel better. You want to shed a few pounds. You want to move better. You want to have more energy. You want to have more, endurance so you can keep up with your kids during sports or whatever. You can do all that through just general activities and sports. So this is a great way to find what you like. We have, I pack a backpack with a bunch of stuff that I have, and we go out to the field. My father did this for my brother and I as a kid. We had this, I remember this old mesh bag, and we would fill it with Frisbees, bats, balls, gloves, everything you could think of. We'd throw it in this bag, sling it over your shoulder, and we'd just have that bag out. And whatever we wanted to play, we'd just take it out, and we'd spend all day there. It's happened so many times over the years. I've shared this story before, but, I was visiting my father every summer in California. I grew up in New Hampshire with my mother. They got divorced when I was 6. But every summer, my brother and I would fly out to Los Angeles and spend the summer with my dad and my stepmom. And yeah, that's what we did. We did so much. I mean, we spent so many hours playing sports. And so I do that with my kids. And so we've got, wiffle balls, Nerf balls. We've got tennis balls. So we'd grab a bunch of just a hodgepodge of equipment, and we just literally would go create games because, I think it's a lot more fun too, even having girls, is they like to be creative and have, different types of games, not necessarily, okay, we're going to play baseball. Okay, we're going to play football. It's, how can we having 2 tennis balls fun. Like, what can we do with 2 tennis balls? Stuff like that. And so this is an opportunity for you to take that time and figure out, what it is that you enjoy, and you do that with your kids, do that with your wife, get out there, have some fun with it and make that part of your life, and it's a great opportunity for that. Right. And, you just again, I've mentioned this already a couple times, but you really don't need to be an overachiever in these times. Some people are going to listen to this and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why wouldn't you want to go out and just be better at everything because you have so much more time and freedom over your schedule and flexibility? You have your kids. I mean, you could do all these things, and this is true. This is true, but this is some crazy, some scary shit out there. And I mean, this could kill. I mean, who knows? I mean, what I think the prediction was, last I read, was this could kill upwards of 250,000 people. It could be 10 times that. I mean, we don't know. It could get out of control if people are still being fucking idiots, going out and spreading this stuff around. I see groups all the time, which is crazy. We have a stay-at-home order here in Maryland. I go out a couple times a day with the kids. We ride our bikes, in isolation. We walk, we go out and play. But I'll go drive by or ride by a tennis court, and I see 4 people playing together. I'll see a skate park with 6 or 7 kids, and I'm thinking, who's allowing their children to go out and just play with a bunch of kids right now, knowing what they know? It blows my mind. But if we don't get smarter about this stuff, this thing is going to take forever to go away. And so, it's scary stuff. So, I really want to make sure you understand that you're not a sack of shit because you're not absolutely crushing it in this time. There's some people that are really struggling. There's some high-profile people, typically overachievers that you see that have shared some personal things on social media that are struggling with a lot of things. And that's the real deal. That's what you want to be able to see that side of people, because it's not all, woohoo, this is awesome, let's just crush it. So I know this kind of is counterintuitive to what I teach, and as a fitness coach who's supposed to motivate and inspire and tell you to, get out there and make yourself better every day. And yes, absolutely, those things are true. But please don't beat yourself up if you're struggling. I would say, the biggest thing is find your inspiration. Really important. Set up some routines. Try to stick to your routines as much as you can. And then make a commitment to something. Like, it doesn't have to be fitness related. I think that makes sense to be part of it, but put your ass on the line and make a commitment, and stick to it. Because for me, for example, no one's holding me to anything. Okay, I can disappear behind my computer, and no one knows any difference if I'm out there doing crazy good things or I'm sitting, in my chair staring at a blank screen. Like, nobody knows. So I've got to put myself out there to a few people. This is what I'm doing. This is what I want to do. And, we work together. So anyway, this wasn't a planned topic for me. This was more of a, not really a rant, but I wanted to just share some thoughts and just give you a few takeaways. And, most of all, just I want you to understand you're not alone if you're struggling a lot with what's going on. Okay, I am absolutely there with you. I'm really struggling with a lot of things, and sometimes it's hard to know, why am I not doing better? But, all I can tell you is, do your best to stay positive, stay active, and stay engaged with your family. I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, If you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.